So I appreciate the privilege today to have this subject, what was the idea about the subject. I was last year in Poland and the brother had this subject. This was interesting. And as time went on, I observed several changes. And as I decided, there were the result as I decided the subject, there were the results of the American election and also the end the end of the German government. And so I think it is quite interesting in this respect to look at the symbolism of the kings of Israel and Judah. Nevertheless, as I began the subject, things are changing. Things are changing very fast in the last time, I must say. If we don't look at the news for a week or for even a day, we may miss something. It is incredible with which pace things are developing and things are changing. So we have a look at the symbolism of the kings of Israel and Judah as explained by Brother Johnson. You can read it also in the third volume. I had in Germany several years ago, I used this page, and you can see the kings of Israel and Judah. We, of course, will not observe all of them. That would be not enough time. We will only look at the persons in the red boxes. And so on the left, we have the four kings of Israel, and on the right, we have three kings of Judah in the red box and one queen. And perhaps we also additionally must mention something about Asa, this which is above the red box on the right side. And I also mentioned in this subject before, when I had the subject about prophecies, fulfilled prophecies. And there were interesting three prophecies, fulfilled prophecies about the kings of Israel. And it was Jeroboam, Baasha, and Ahab. Things are a little bit difficult for me for the names to expel. Please excuse if they are not fully correct. I hope we can understand the whole subject. So fulfilled prophecies about three kings of Israel. In 1 Kings 14 and 10 we read, "Therefore, behold, I will bring evil upon the house of Jeroboam, and will cut off from Jeroboam every man-child, him that is shut up, and him that is left at large in Israel, and will utterly sweep away the house of Jeroboam, as a man sweepeth away dung till it be all gone." In further we read in 1 Kings 21, 20 to 22, "And Ahab said to Elijah, Hast thou found me, O mine enemy? And he answered, I have found thee, because thou hast sold thyself to do that which is evil in the sight of Jehovah. And I will make the house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahijah, for the provocation wherewith thou hast provoked me to anger and hast made Israel to sin. So we have these three kings, and as I said, we especially will observe four kings of Israel, beginning with Ahab. But we see that there were rather bad kings. And we, to make the name a little bit clear, I have on the left the kings of Israel and on the right the kings of Judah. So we have Ahab with his wife Jezebel, king of Israel, and as we said, a rather bad king, and was with a bad role in the history of the kings of Israel. And we have the kings of Judah. It is Jehoshaphat, and I have him green because he is rather a positive king, a good king. He was obeyed the things which God told him, and he was a good king for Israel, for the kingdom of Judah. Sorry. We have the next in Israel is Ahaziah the next. In Judah were the next Jehoram, and we have Ahaziah as the king of Judah and Jehoram as the king of Israel. And we have, I think, the somewhat better known Jehu. And as we said, a queen, Athaliah. Athaliah as the daughter of Ahab. Now we see Ahab's two sons, Ahaziah and Jehoram, were kings of Israel. And Ahab's daughter Athaliah as the queen of Judah. Here is the difficulty that we have the same name of king once in Israel and once in Judah. And also here, the second time, the same names for one king in Israel and one king of Judah. Therefore, it is a little bit difficult and easy to make mistakes when we speak about it. I had a little point before in a lecture which was called Our Time in Prophecy about volume 12 at page 527, 28. And there's Ramoth Gilead represents power preeminence in the world, and Jehoram of Israel and Ahaziah of Judah upholding it against Hazael of Syria, first attempt to take it from them symbolizes the democracies of Europe and America holding power preeminence against the attacks of the totalitarian powers. Here is interesting is that here is mentioned the first attempt. If there is a first attempt, there will be further attempts, a second attempt. And the question is, what will it be about the next attempts? So we have our subject is the symbols, the picture of the kings of Israel and Judah. America and Europe as typed in Kings and Chronicles, Second Kings, Second Chronicles. We have the picture of Judah's kings. If they stand in contact with Elijah and Elisha, they type America, as in and the kings of Israel, if they stay in contact with Elijah and Elisha, they type Europe. And from the standpoint of certain policies. And God favored Judah above Israel and America above Europe because of more divinely pleasing political principles. We look at Jehoshaphat, and Jehoshaphat types America, maintaining policies of freedom according to the Monroe Doctrine, benevolent help of allied Europe. Ahaziah of Israel types Europe, consisting of various states acting more or less independently of one another. And Jehoram of Israel represents Europe, allied in a concert of power. And I wonder that Brother Johnson was fully right with this picture. And you see, there where Europe states were less or more or less independently, but today they are allied in a concert of power. This is the European Union, so-called. Yes, I know England made the Brexit and went out of this. What is the Monroe Doctrine? Here I mentioned the policy in respect of America. The Monroe Doctrine is a United States foreign policy position that opposes European colonialism in the Western Hemisphere. It holds that any intervention in the political affairs of the Americas by foreign powers is a potentially hostile act against the United States. The doctrine was central to America's grand strategy in the 20th century. President James Monroe first articulated the doctrine on December 2, 1823. And I think this is especially interesting as we see that the history after Brother Johnson test will show exactly that which we will consider. The European Union, so we have a concert of powers, we said. Yeah, the European Union in its present form was officially established by the Maastricht Treaty on 7th February 1992. But until 2009, it was the European Community. The European Union is a union of states consisting of 27 states, 26 of which are in Europe, and one, Cyprus, is geographically in Asia. The EU also includes some overseas territories outside the continent. It has a total of around 450 million inhabitants. The most common languages in the EU are English, German, and French. 20 of the 27 member states use the euro as their official currency. The official withdrawal of the United Kingdom from the European Union took place on the 31st January 2020, also known as Brexit. In Isaiah 18:1, we read, the land of the rustling of wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. And as usually, I will quote from the AS4, American Standard Version. In respect to this verse, Brother Russell write in reprints 3404, it is evidently proper for us to expect a fulfillment of this prophecy at the present time. Whatever it refers to, We should be able to discern now or soon as applicable to events now transpiring. The mentioned wings obviously refer to divine providence. The eagle and its wings are a symbol for divine protection. Psalm 91 and 4. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. A promise made to the church, a holy nation. Nevertheless, the affairs of earthly nations are supervised in the interest of the peculiar people. And we read, just again, we want to look at Isaiah 18:1. I think we say it in American the land of the rustling of wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. And this is the American Standard Version, and the New American Standard Bibles say instead of ls. And here we have the Hebrew word for this a or ls. And this word in the Bible is mainly translated as woe, as in Isaiah 5:8. Woe to those who ate house to house. But not so, the same word, not so translated in Isaiah 55 and 1. Ho, everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and you who have no money, come, buy and eat. As to Isaiah 18:1, we read in reference 34:04, the first word of the chapter, woe, should more properly be translated ho. Thus, Professor Young's translation reads, ho to the land shadowed with wings. And also in E volume 3 on page 196, indeed, the Bible speaks of America as being under the shadow protection of God's wings. And in parentheses, Isaiah 18:1. And in E3 235, do you know that the Bible in one of its prophecies addresses America? We quote the improved version's rendering of the verse. Ho, not woe, as the AV renders it, land of shadowing wings, land of God's special providential protection, which is beyond, west of the rivers of Ethiopia, the then most westerly known country, in language that indicates its being a special object of divine care and blessing. And also refers to Isaiah chapter 18, verse 1. In history, America became a place of refuge for many from Europe. After the Reformation, America became a home for the Pilgrim Fathers. We remember a lecture in our class of Brother Arthur Ripper about the Mayflower. In search of a place where they could live their Christianity, English Puritans set off for America in the Mayflower on September 16th in 1620. The Pilgrim Father thus unwittingly laid the foundation for the emergence of the United States. We come back to our picture, and we have the kings of Judah and Jehoshaphat. In 2 Kings, first chapter, verse 17, and third chapter from 6 to 27, and Jehoram, the firstborn of Jehoshaphat of Judah, in 2 Chronicles 21, are typical, because, as we said before, they are related to Elijah and Elisha. Jehoshaphat reigned 25 years in Jerusalem, He did not turn aside from doing right in the sight of the Lord. In 2 Kings 3:11 we read, but Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of Jehovah, that we may inquire of Jehovah by him? And one of the king of Israel's servants answered and said, Elisha, the son of Shaphat, is here, who poured water on the hands of Elijah. Jehoram walked at the house of Ahab. So we see, Jehoram was the son of Jehoshaphat. We have here in green Jehoshaphat and below Jehoram. Jehoram walked at the house of Ahab, for Ahab's daughter Athaliah was his wife. He did evil in the sight of the Lord. The Lord was not willing to destroy the house of David because of the covenant which he had made with David. And there came a writing to him from Elijah the prophet. Behold, Jehovah will smite with a great plague the people and the children and the wives and all the substance. In respect to Elijah, you read in Matthew 11:14, and I think Brother Adam mentioned it yesterday. And if ye are willing to receive it, this is Elijah that is to come. Another point is Jezebel, the persecutor of Elijah. Jezebel is a picture of the Roman Catholic Church as the persecutor of the faithful church. And we can read about it in Revelation 2:20. But I have this against thee, that thou sufferest the woman Jezebel, who calleth herself a prophetess, and she teaches and seduces my servants to commit fornication, and to eat things sacrificed to idols. When may we know what is typical? Whenever prophetic allusions are made to past events, persons, and places. So, the Revelation makes allusion to Jezebel, a person of the Old Testament. So this is a proof for that Jezebel is typical. In Revelation 2:18, we read, and to the angel of the church in Thyatira write, these things says the Son of God, who has his eyes like a flame of fire, and his feet are like unto burnished brass. Thyatira means sweet perfume of sacrifice and stand for the church period from 799 to 1309. This was a period of papal persecution. The true church endured the hardship of the wilderness, while the apostate church sat on the throne of civil power. We find an allusion to the prophet Elijah, who fled into the wilderness to escape Jezebel. Jezebel was the protector of the priest of Baal. Also, her husband was king. She used his power for her own ends. So the apostate church worked through the civil authorities. The drought of 3.5 years was a type of the spiritual famine. In Amos 8:11, we read, behold, the days comes, says the Lord Jehovah, that I will send a famine, and the land, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Jehovah. So he is like a flame of fire, by virtue of which he is able to watch over his faithful who are wandering in dark valleys or hiding in dark caves of the earth. His feet like burnished brass, so that he is able to walk with the two members of his church as they make their way along the rough and steep road, or as they seek with wounded feet a place where they can sow the seed of truth. In 2 Chronicles 21 and 12 we read, "And there came a writing to him from Elijah the prophet, saying, Thus says Jehovah, the God of David, the father, because thou hast not walked in the ways of Jehoshaphat, my father, nor in the ways of Asa, king of Judah." So we have kings of Israel and kings of Judah. Ahab, we begin with Europe. Ahab, king of Israel, is type of autocratic Europe. Ahaziah, king of Israel, is type of nationally independent Europe. So we remember the time that Germany, Austria, France, England were nationally independent. And we have the picture of Jehoram, the alliance of Europe. We have the European Union, which except of Great Britain is allied in the present. More or less, we can say. We continue with the kings of Judah. So we have also Asa, type of America in isolation. Jehoshaphat, standing for liberty and equality before the law and benevolent association with Europe. And Jehoram, America reactionary, following in attenuated ways the policies of Europe. And final, what we will mention here is from the kings of Judah is Ahaziah, America autocratic, pursuing a self-centered and cooperative policy toward Europe. And I think that's especially interesting because when we go into history, we see that it is fully the picture as here presented. We will also mention Athaliah, the queen in the picture, later. But I think what is interesting is this was Brother Johnson wrote unto the day today was developed and was seen in the relation between Europe and America. We see some great changes, I must think, in the things which went on in the last time. And as I said, I'm a little bit surprised, incredible what belongs to the relation between Europe and America. And we will see what will develop further, and I think we can also understand in the near future more about the developments. And what for me is a little bit incredible is the pace things are going on. It is in a short time, so great changes are today, and we see that what was after World War II, the order was a relation between America and Europe, and that was also a guarantee for peace, and we now see that it's a little bit shaken. So we go to the policy. All these things are mentioned by Brother Johnson. In 1894, efforts began to unite America with Europe in a peace organization. The Permanent Court of Arbitration. This Court of Arbitration is the oldest institution for the settlement of international disputes. It was established by the First Hague Peace Conference in 1899. By the way, we have a brethren which come from the Netherlands in our class, from Hague, from the city in Hague. The first, last week I spoke to them. The first case was the dispute between Mexico and the United States over the ownership of the Californian church. Also interesting, yes? What was the first case? Also connected with California. We say, in Germany, we say the world is a village. Everything is connected. In addition, there is the International Court of Justice in Hague, founded in San Francisco in 1945, and the International Criminal Court in Hague, established in 2002 in Rome, Italy, issued warrants for the arrest of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. What is interesting, Donald Trump didn't agree with that and criticized the International Criminal Court for this. The spirit of interference in European affairs increased under Roosevelt. We are now in 1901 to 1909, Taft 1909 to 1913, and Wilson 1913 to 1921. And shortly before the armistice on the 11th of November in 1918, became the dominant American policy toward Europe. Woodrow Wilson was the 28th President of the United States, serving from 1913 to 1921. Wilson is best known for his role in the First World War and for founding the League of Nations, founded in 1920 in Geneva, Switzerland, the forerunner of the United Nations. And I think also this is criticized by Donald Trump now. Wilson involved America in the affairs of Europe. In 2 Chronicles 21 to first verse we read, and Jehoshaphat slept with his father and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Jehoram his son reigned in his stead. We have in 2 Chronicles, so Brother Johnson explained, a new king comes. It is a change of the policy. In 2 Chronicles 21 and 2, we read about the sons of Jehoshaphat. And in this verse is interesting. There's two different sons have the same name. And a second thing, Jehoshaphat is called King of Israel, and he was not the King of Israel, but he was the King of Judah. How we can explain? Jehoshaphat is called King of Israel during the time of Jehoshaphat's alliance with Ahab and Jehoram of Israel. He had more power than the kings of Israel. This is a picture of America having more influence in Europe than European governments. Yeah, and we in Heidelberg at a long time, not yet, but a long time, were the headquarters of the American army. About Jehoram of Judah, we can read in 2 Chronicles 21 and 6. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, as did the house of Ahab. For he had the daughter of Ahab to wife. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah. So we see Jehoshaphat was a good king, and His son was a bad king. Jehoram left the way of his grandfather Asa and his father Jehoshaphat. His wife Athaliah, his wife Athaliah was daughter of Ahab. The chief wrongs of the house of Ahab were Baal worship, exploitation of common people, Arabs prohibited marriage with Jezebel, persecuting servants of the Lord. About Jehoram's king of Israel and son of Ahab we read in 2 Kings 3:2. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, but not like his father and like his mother, for put away the pillar of Baal that his father had made. Nevertheless, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam of Israel, the son of Nebat, wherewith he made Israel to sin. He departed not therefrom. And about Jeroboam of Israel, we read in 1 Kings 12:28 to 31. And I see the time is nearly over, but with this quotation, we will stop here. And I think, as I suppose, we will have a second part. Whereupon the king took counsel and made two calves of gold. And he said unto them, It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, the gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan. And these things became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. And he made houses of high places and made priests from among all the people that were not of the sons of Levi. Yeah, dear brethren, I have a minute before 10 and up to 10, it was my time. And I think, yeah, we will have a second part surely. And I had also this subject in my class, and we will have also a second part in my class. I think what I want to say, interested by the relation between Europe and America and the picture which explain Brother Johnson, I took this subject and all these matters which were mentioned by Brother Johnson about the United Nations and the International Court of the ICC and so on. It's all interesting because all these things changed in a very fast pace in the last time. And we look at what we can say, what we will say at the end also. It is a great step into the direction of the establishment of the kingdom of God. And we see this situation in Europe and in America, and I would say the brethren in America are in a little better situation than the brethren in Europe. May God bless our consideration.